Oh, it's going to be the French music. We will make you wait. Oh, wait. Wrong person. Nope. Matt James is coming out. A fellow that you know a lot about from CGA Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, I used to train out of Russell Perks Martial Arts Academy with myself, and then he decided to move on somewhere. He's a good friend of mine. I get on really well, but yeah, he's got a lot of good striking stuff. So we should see how he gets on in this one.
You said you two were sparring up to your fight last night.
Yeah, me and him done some sparring a few weeks ago. Yeah, so
a lot of different looks. What new tools does Mathieu James bring to the table tonight?
He looks very sharp for this one. So I mean, it all depends how he wants to. I mean, I'd like to see Matt press this one and really let his hands go. He's a little bit patient in his last fight. He sat back a bit too much, and I'd like to see him really put on a clinical performance here.
Yeah, he's looking in excellent shape too. Very good. Yeah, he's looking in great shape in this 66-kilo featherweight battle here. A-class rules, ground and pound allowed.
And his opponent entering the cage into the red corner. The smashing machine, Cinglant.
Looks very focused in there, does Mathieu?
Mr. Cinglant, smashing machine. How do you say that en français? Who knows? Here we go. We've got the LSA faithful here. Lucas Cinglant looking to spoil this coming out party for Mathieu James. Just walking nice and slow to the cage. And we've seen that LSA has gotten 2 victories tonight. Both by decision, one by split. So can Lucas Cinglant try to show them to be a more finishing-based fighter?
As I say, I don't really know much about this gym, so I'm sort of playing this one by ear.
Speculating is what we're doing, but so far we've noticed they've come in great shape.
All of them come in good shape, and they've all come to fight. So, but you wouldn't cross the water if you're not prepared to fight, would you? Let's be honest.
Exactly. They're ready to come. They're ready to go.
Mathieu James got Charlie Spoon.
We got to take a moment to let you know that this fight's brought to you by Bear Hug knee, ankle, and elbow supports. When you need support, you need a Bear Hug. And from Viking Warrior Nutrition, why eat like a man when you can eat like a Viking Warrior? Go to vikingwarriornutrition.co.uk to get all your supplements, spats, rash guards, and supplies.
Can you hear me right? Yeah, Mathieu James got Charlie Spooner in his corner. He's a Thai boxer from Kidderminster town where I'm from. So.
Yeah, Kidderminster just makes them tough, don't they?
Yeah, Kidderminster, we've got a lot of good fighters coming out to Kidderminster. You know, we're a fighting town, and yeah, we all bring it.
Right. Introducing the fighter in the blue corner, weighing 66.4 kilograms, representing CJA Combat Jiu-Jitsu, Mathieu. Representing LSA, Lucas, smashing machine, Cinglant.
Mr. Paul Nichols, referee, also referee for Glory, Bellator, and Bama. One of the most experienced referees that we have here in the United Kingdom.
And he's a great fella.
He is a great fellow. Lucas Cinglant, I was wondering if that smashing machine moniker that he goes by is indicative of his wrestling skills, because we all know that it was Mark Kerr who was the original smashing machine in Pride, and we've seen that these LSA guys love to die for those doubles. We've seen him earlier in the night, and we're going to see it again. We know that our man Mathieu James is a bit of a Thai boxing standout. He's got crisp striking, and my man here, David Kelso, wants to see him come forward in this fight. Oh, coming forward with big hands, punches and bunches there with Cinglant.
I'd like to see Mathieu circle out when he's coming for him, so not take backward steps into the cage, you know, circle off, use the angles, you know, that's where you need to be.
Interesting that Mathieu's coming out in that southpaw stance. Cinglant doing well to circle away. He's got a over-under position here. Goes for the inside leg trip and drops Mathieu James back very hard. There's a bit of blood coming from the ear, it seems, of Mathieu James. Might be superficial, or the nose, pardon me, the nose of Cinglant, which might affect his breathing as the fight wears on.
Matthews looks very, very calm on his back, sat here now. He's got one butterfly in, trying to control his arms.
Cinglant is bleeding heavily from that nose.
Is that from the takedown, or was that from the shot?
Might have clashed heads on the takedown. It's very strange.
Does seem to be bleeding quite a lot.
It's all over Mathieu James at the moment. That's going to make submissions harder.
I'd like to see Mathieu use that butterfly to try and flip him over rather than sitting on his back.
Yeah, he's got to get more on his side in his guard. And he does.
There
He
we
does.
go.
He gets back up. A couple dirty boxing uppercuts there from Cinglant. Big knee up.
Changing knees.
Oh, his knees are good for Mathieu James. His Thai boxing base corner. He's got good head position there against the fence. Sometimes when you smell your own blood, it can be a bit off-putting, and maybe that's what Cinglant's experiencing. He had a little bit of earlier success. Knees are now landing for Mathieu James. Goes for that inside leg trip again. It's not one of my favorite takedowns.
Back out of the way of that. Oh, and he's drawing him back, pulled him down.
Big double. Mathieu James going for that guillotine. Just a little bit of an experience there. Rather than pushing the head down, getting heavy on the head, he over wraps for that arm in guillotine, which is always hard to complete and finish. We got some top pressure there from Cinglant, but Mathieu James is doing well to stand up here at the end of the round.
He's got a match to go for a single when he's switching to the double.
He had a single of his own.
Mathieu throws a nice knee.
Yeah, and it all ends with Mathieu James pushing the pressure. Fair amount of blood there from the nose of Cinglant. Getting a good look there.
He's got a little bit of a clock.
They're gonna have to clean that up.
It does look like he's bleeding quite badly. He doesn't look too tired though. It doesn't look too tired like his brother.
There was one really good striking exchange there. Cinglant seemed to get the better of it, smashing big rights and lefts in. But Mathieu James seemed to get his rhythm a little bit later on after that butterfly sweep. Getting a few instructions there from his corner. I'm hoping that's going to be an effective corner, because what we've got Cinglant, who's coming from a very strong wrestling-based gym, it seems. We've got Mathieu James with a Muay Thai coach in the corner, so maybe just keep those clinches coming and keep the knees coming up the middle to off-put the takedowns. All right, corners are called out of the cage. Here we go for the second round.
Mathieu does seem to be blowing a little bit harder than
Cinglant.
That's the one.
That's the one. The smashing machine, we should just call him smashing machine. Smashing machine circling around. Oh, Mathieu James looking to change stances, maybe to confuse the smashing machine here.
He is very good in both stances. Is Mathieu? He's used to fighting orthodox, and then he's switched to southpaw.
Cinglant's got double overhooks.
I'd like to see Mathieu. No, nice little hook.
Very good trip there. And he takes him down again, does Mathieu James. Good control here in the early parts of the second round. Side control position, gets caught up and back in the half guard. Interestingly, Cinglant is not getting onto his side here and trying to establish any sort of submission game or sweep game. Mathieu James kind of gives it to him there by getting his hips elevated.
I'd like to see him get both his hands on the inside rather than sitting one out.
And you've sparred with Mathieu, Dave. So have you been in this position with him before? Does he have a good passing game, or is he aware of submissions?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's been a while since he's trained with us. It's been a couple of years since he trained with us, but yeah, he's a very strong position, very good at this kind of exchanges where holding positions and then waiting and moving into a better position. He's very good at holding it up and then moving, but he's getting to.
He's got some good posture there. He's able to twist out of a triangle.
Nice passed out of that. Yeah, passed out of that. I'd like to see him throw a few more shots just to soften the machine up before passing.
Yeah, it's a hard one. Foreign names, I know. Just wait until the Polish guys come out.
Yeah, that's better. A few more shots to soften him up before he makes the pass.
Yeah, it's so underrated because punching can actually open up submission games. That's why you see a lot more submissions in MMA than you actually do in jiu-jitsu, because they're punching and they're establishing position.
You've only got to look at like people like Demetrius Johnson, who puts it on perfectly, isolates, a few shots, moves position, isolates, a few shots, moves position, and that's how he moves forward. You know, it's good enough for the best in the world. It's good enough for me.
That's a good. That's definitely a good blueprint to learn from, is Demetrius Johnson. And here in this featherweight bout, we've got Cinglant with his back on the canvas. That first round, you know, he might have been able to eke it out, but it's all Mathieu James here in the second. Two really brilliant takedowns, just been able to continue this ground control for the duration of the second round.
He needs to work a bit more. The ref's telling him he's got to work a bit more. He's going to try and pass through and take him out. He's got his knee in, stopping him.
I understand that James isn't really he's not trying to knee cut. He's trying to bring that knee up the middle of the body. And there's the break. End of the second round there, which was all Mathieu James on top, but he wasn't really able to establish anything that was going to end or risk ending the fight for him. But Cinglant's got to feel, as he walked back to his corner, that the smashing machine needs to start smashing in the third round, because it possibly is 2 rounds to none.
It's going to be an exciting third round, I think. Smash Machine's going to have to bring it out, and how's Mathieu going to deal with that? Is Mathieu going to go take it to him, or will it be another takedown and try to hold him and close out the round with a few shots, or maybe go to a submission?
Yeah, it's all about finding your pathway to victory here. And I can see that Mathieu's a bit more comfortable standing, but he really used that takedown, or that series of takedowns there in the second, to slow down Cinglant and maybe get him thinking twice. So maybe this will open up some more of Mathieu's striking ability here in the third and final round.
The Smashing Machine is really taking some heavy breaths now, both of the fighters. Mathieu looks the fresher this round. It's funny how that turns round.
When somebody's on top of you, sending their knee right up into your gizzard.
It really does take it out of you, you know, being on it when you're one on the bottom and someone's laying the pressure on you.
Leg kick there from Cinglant to lead off. Diving left hand. Cinglant backs off. Maybe he's just a little bit wary of that takedown position. There's that left hand lands. Very nice. I really like how Mathieu James is going for double underhooks. He's using it very well in cooperation with his head position there. Setting some knees up the middle into Cinglant's body and into his legs. Cinglant had those 2 inside leg trips that first round.
Those knees to the legs. And there goes the hook again. It's twice he's had that, and now he's on his back. He's got one hook in.
Lovely transition. He's got both hooks in, I believe.
Is it both? Yeah, both hooks in. You can see. Now he's got the arm under.
I'd like to see him take that left hand out and just start peppering the side of the head.
A few shots to soften him up, yeah. And just rolled him over.
Oh, Mathieu's got his legs crossed. It looks like Cinglant might be able to turn in.
He's going to turn. Mathieu needs to sit up. He needs to sit up.
Does it just in time. Very good from Mathieu James, sitting up in a high mount here.
He's going to round down some shots.
He's locking himself in a grapevine. Very good work from Mathieu James here to hold position. He's got deep hooks in, deep grapevine hooks, so he can spladle out.
He's very good in this when we used to have grappling exchanges, stretching your opponents out and taking their mind off where
he's dragging Cinglant to the middle of the cage where he can really do damage.
From Mathieu.
That's just good experience, and probably good training partners. Oh, he gets pushed back into half guard.
He's isolating the arm. getting a couple of shots and then passed him through. He's got his knee on his arm.
Cinglant has been quite good at just tying up here and just making nothing happen in half guard. As Mathieu James is, he's in a very dominant position, but he hasn't been able to make anything happen passing-wise or striking-wise from here. There he almost passes into side control.
Very patient on the turn, on the control positions.
Cinglant is doing well to keep his knees involved and try to establish just even a kind of a half-hearted guard there. But Mathieu James is almost past.
Trying to see him turn in and get the hot. He's got back to the half guard. Well, he's got
Armbar,
and it's deep.
It is very, very deep. Armbar at the very end of the fight. 10 seconds is left. Wow, Mathieu James really fought very hard out of that one.
Mathieu James has got bendy arms. I've tried to tap him a good few times myself. That boy's arm could bend round in circles.
It was very deep in there. Jesus. I would be tapping to that for sure. It was almost as though he was
flexible.
breaking.
He does a lot of yoga and stuff like that. He's yeah, he's a very flexible boy.
I'm gonna do some yoga. I'm gonna go
I
home
need
right
to
tonight.
do some yoga.
So if you own a yoga studio, get in contact with David Kelsa. He'd be happy to do some ahead of his next fight.
I would definitely.
Or just send me your DVDs. Very close there, and we're gonna go to the judges' scorecards. Very, very sad there for Cinglant at the end. It's very hard. As soon as you hear that clap, 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 the last 10 seconds, it's almost like everybody goes for broke. But you got to treat that as soon as you step into the third round. You got to treat it as
very hard to get
seconds.
a submission in the last 10 seconds. If you let tap in the last 10 seconds, you'd probably regret that for a long while.
Definitely, you'd be eating yourself up. But a really good transition there from Cinglant. He might then be able to win that third round.
I'd have said that was two rounds to but then again the first round was close. So
close. This is gonna be a tough one for them to score.
Yeah,
Cinglant,
that last round
smashing
was,
machine.
Mathieu dominated the whole round, but then obviously that submission at the end, it depends how the judges look at it, you know.
Yeah, that third round was very, very contested. And you go from having Mathieu James on your back, looking to choke. Jeez, you should have told him that. Just talking to Mathieu James there, he said it was close. So you got letting him know. Elasticity en français. There you go. We're just waiting for the judge's decision. Carson's got it. We go to him. It's brought to you by Bear Hug and BikingWarriorNutrition.co.uk.
So after 3 close rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecard. And we have a split decision. For your winner, that in the blue corner, close like me, very, very close. Split decision win.
Yeah, well, awesome.
It was very, very close. Very close first round. And then the third round, you need to push back for a little while. I've got to see from where I was. How close was that being in the show?
It was pretty close. I was 6 off on that. I was 6 off and lost it.
And then, of course, we've got to speak about the armbar right again. How close was it snapping? Did you know you were in that 10 seconds out?
I think one of the times about 10 seconds.
Well, very close fight, but a good win. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go to your winner. One more time. Matt James.
I don't speak English, but thank you, my coach, Johnny Fraser.
Congratulations. Well done.